what's actually fascinating, that if you've ever eaten at a restaurant, if they get things wrong, you'll never go back. But also you won't tell them what was wrong, you just won't go back again. And for a restaurant who doesn't realise they're making these mistakes, this is devastating. So it might be something as simple as you book a table and they can't find your booking, maybe they get your order wrong, or maybe they take your order but then there's a long delay and you're confused. All of these little things, what they do is they create space for confusion, and when we are confused or we feel like we're being slighted, we make up a narrative in our head of like why it's going wrong. They signal disrespect, yet they're not intentional. And the reason I mention them is the opposite is also true. If you go to a restaurant and they do more than things brilliantly, then you're going to always come back, because we want certainty of outcome over everything else. But the big thing is, all of these problems can be easily fixed if you're just paying attention and you're kind of anticipating what is needed before it's actually needed. The thing is, all of these things can be easily fixed if you just find ways to communicate and you anticipate where friction can arise. When I work with clients, what we do to try and work out where this could happen is we actually map out their process and then we split it. So we map all the steps of what they need to do, and then we take one side is like all the responsibilities they have and all the responsibilities the client has. And when you split it like this, you can see where there are long periods of either you're asking the client to do quite a lot, or periods of where there's no communication and therefore there's friction arising. And the most common thing I see is the client is asked to sort of do too much on the onboarding process, such as sign contracts, pay deposits, fill out onboarding forms, create mood boards, and book in for meetings. And then there's a massive gap where the creative goes off and does all the work, and then they're going to go back to the client at that first meeting and try and sell them their most exciting ideas. What's actually happening is the client is kind of tired from the admin side of things. They've paid their money. It probably hasn't been acknowledged in a very nice way. I say nice, but they haven't had like a thank you or like I'm super excited or a little gift or something. And then when they go into the meeting, because they've not been aware of what you've been working on, or they haven't been let into the creative process, they go into the meeting a little bit tense, a little bit irritated, and this is the first impression they have of you, and this is the meeting where we get to set the tone and hopefully convince them to buy a great idea. Now, what I suggest is simple things like little regular check-ins every week, or sharing what you're working on so they're aware and it's not a big surprise, can make such a big difference as far as they feel involved in the process, they feel understood, they're clear on what you're doing. And the main thing is that when they come to see the work, it's not a shock. They understand what you're thinking and they can start to embrace it because they're as excited as you are. Now, all of this comes from hospitality thinking. And for me, the biggest thing you can do to make your process smooth so that you make the things right, so that they get certainty of outcome and they want to keep coming back, is simply this. Map out your process from start to finish, split the process so you see who is doing what as far as your responsibilities versus the client's. Wherever anyone is doing too much, check in and make sure they're okay. Whenever anyone is being neglected for too long, keep them updated with what you're doing. And then every now and then, throw in some sort of little thank you to keep their energy high throughout the project. If you do that in the same way that if you're at a restaurant, you would arrive, they'd take your order, they would let you know how long it was going to be at the kitchen, and then when you left, they'd give you like a free dessert or free drink or a thank you. All of these things sweeten the deal to make you want to go back. Now, we've all known what makes a good restaurant experience, and we've all gone back to have more of it, yet we don't do this in our business. So why don't you map your process, do what I say, see if you can spot the friction, and then fix it by just letting people know what you're doing, and watch how smooth everything goes and how much they buy into your brilliant ideas.